Good meeting, people. Hello, hello, hello. Top secret documents of the U.S. government about crashed flying saucers. We present to you material about the activities of the super secret investigative group for extraterrestrial biological objects, Majestic 12, appointed by intelligence services under the U.S. government and reporting directly to the President. According to specialists, these are the most striking and most controversial documents of the 20th century. Project Majestic 12. In December 1984, film producer and UFO expert Jamie Shandera received a strange postal package. The package contained documents and 35mm photographic film. There was no cover letter and no sender's address. The postmark was from Albuquerque, New Mexico. It turned out that the film contained a compilation of information for President Dwight Eisenhower dated November 18, 1952. On the first of the 8 burning pages stood the classification, Top Secret! Strictly confidential. It was stated that the document contained information of the highest importance to the security of the United States. A list was presented of 12 of the most authoritative American scientists and military specialists, representatives of the intelligence services engaged with the extraterrestrial case. The document spoke of the recovery in 1947 of a flying saucer and the bodies of several extraterrestrials in the vicinity of Roswell, New Mexico. Attached was a memorandum from Harry Truman dated September 24, 1947, in which the President ordered Secretary of Defense James Forrestal to activate Operation Majestic 12. Part of a top-secret report dated 18/11, 1952 to Dwight Eisenhower informed the U.S. President that in July 1947 an extraterrestrial spacecraft with a crew had crashed near Roswell and that Harry Truman had approved the composition of Majestic 12. To understand the memorandum to Forrestal, it must be connected with the text of a top-secret telegram from 1952 revealing that in July 1947 near Roswell a disc-shaped flying object had crashed, around which extraterrestrial biological objects were discovered. When President Truman was informed of the military's find, he authorized Secretary of Defense Forrestal to form a commission on the case. After being elected president in 1952, Eisenhower assumed leadership of Operation Majestic 12, issuing additional instructions on the matter. He personally approved the 12 members of the specialized commission, summarized the details of the crash of the flying object, and emphasized that the revelations must be conducted under the highest level of secrecy so as not to create panic among the population. American ufologist Stanton Friedman and Italian sociologist Roberto Pinotti believe in the authenticity of the documents of Project Majestic 12. When some information nevertheless leaked, a war of opinions broke out among ufologists. Dozens of researchers such as Stanton Friedman, Bill Moore, and others declared in support of the authenticity of the documents of Project Majestic 12. More skeptical were the conclusions of Kevin Randall, Armin Victorian, and Philip Glass, some of whom outright declared the documents to be fake. Physicist Stanton Friedman believes in the authenticity of the documents of Project Majestic 12, But another strange postal package deepened the mystery around Majestic 12, also known as MJ-12, and Magic. In 1985, Bill Moore received a letter, without sender, from New Zealand, hinting that he should search for declassified documents in the U.S. National Archives. Thus, Moore and Shandera discovered an important memorandum from Robert Cutler, Special Assistant for National Security Affairs, to General Nathan Twining, Chief of Staff of the Air Force during Eisenhower's presidency. Again, it concerned MJ-12. In 1987, Jamie Shandera discovered new documents about the activities of Majestic 12. While exploring the possibility of filming a movie about UFOs in 1980, Shandera became acquainted with many specialists from the highest military echelons. It is assumed that one of them spilled the beans. The documents addressed strategies related to the recovery, processing, and study of technological and organic remains of extraterrestrial origin, retrieved after UFO incidents. These were not photocopies but so-called initialed copies corresponding to the original. After the markings, top secret, and for specialists with access to the operation only, followed information related to national security, containing a detailed report on Operation Majestic 12, prepared by Admiral Roscoe Hillenkotter for President Dwight Eisenhower. The date again is November 18, 1952. Thus, following a recommendation by Dr. Vannevar Bush and Secretary of Defense James Forrestal on September 24, 1947, President Truman issued a special order for the formation of Group Majestic 12. Hillenkotter's report summarizes the problems related to extraterrestrial objects, beginning with Kenneth Arnold's UFO report of June 24, 1947, passing through the hundreds of subsequent sightings, and reaching the crash of a non-terrestrial flying object in one of the deserted areas of New Mexico, 75 miles northwest of the Air Force Base at Roswell, today Walker Field. According to the report, on July 7, an operation was organized to recover the remains of the crashed object and the 4 deceased crew members. After transporting the bodies to secret installations, a cover story was disseminated that a weather balloon had crashed in the area. A memorandum by Harry Truman dated 24/09/1947 ordered Secretary of Defense James Forrestal to form a commission on the case and activate Operation Majestic 12 in connection with the discovery in July 1947 near Roswell of a crashed disc-shaped flying object with extraterrestrial biological objects. Graphology experts confirmed that Harry Truman's signature is authentic. On the 4th page of the report, the specialists' preliminary conclusions were summarized. The disc was a reconnaissance flying craft with a relatively limited operational radius, and the beings subjected to autopsy by MJ-12 member Dr. Detlev Bronk were creatures resembling humans, but their bio-evolutionary processes did not correspond to those characteristic of Homo sapiens. Bronk introduced the term extraterrestrial biological objects. It was initially assumed that the beings had arrived from Mars, but the hypothesis of astronomer Prof. Donald Menzel's, also a member of MJ-12, prevailed that the aliens originated from a planet in another solar system. Among the remains were found details with strange hieroglyph-like writing which no one managed to decipher. The technology of the flying saucer was evidently extraterrestrial. According to the report, specialists were unable to determine the system of operation of the disk, which lacked wings, a tail, propulsion parts, reactors, or any hint of a motor. It was assumed that the engine may have been completely destroyed in the explosion. Hangar 84 was the first storage site for the remains of the crashed UFO near Roswell, collected by the U.S. Air Force. The document specified the security and secrecy measures after the incident. Access to information was restricted to 2 individuals from a special subdivision of Air Materiel Command headquartered at Wright-Patterson, which would maintain liaison between Group Majestic 12 and specialists from the Air Force's Project Sign, later renamed Project Grudge. The channels would transmit the most important information related to the UFO problem. The operation was given the code name Blue Book. The report also mentioned a second UFO incident that occurred on December 6, 1950, in a deserted area between El Indio and Guerrero on the Texas-Mexico border. The fallen object, however, was incinerated after the explosion. In the conclusions of the report, the fundamental importance of the discovered objects for national security was emphasized. The recorded apparent increase in UFO activity required maintaining constant combat readiness. In 1947, an unidentified flying object crashes in the American desert. An incredible film from the Pentagon archives shows autopsies of 2 alien corpses. Scientists analyze the film. Is it reality or a mystification? News of the century or hoax of the year? After several publications in the world press in recent years, a kind of cosmic Watergate erupted. After 1987, the U.S. government on several occasions officially denied the documents related to Group Majestic 12. However, many scientists, such as Canadian nuclear physicist Stanton Friedman, consider the report to Eisenhower completely authentic. After more than 15 years of in-depth research, Friedman presented documented evidence in his final report on Operation MJ-12, published by the Fund for UFO Research in April 1990. Between 1992 and 1996, researcher Tim Cooper obtained new documents on MJ-12, which he presented to Friedman. After research in the U.S. National Archives, as well as in military, academic, and private archives, Friedman became convinced of the authenticity of the documents. Anthropologist Prof. Roger Westcott of the University of Wisconsin analyzed the materials from a linguistic perspective and also concluded that they are authentic documents. And so, it is logical to ask, if President Truman created a team of experts dealing with flying saucers and their crews, does this team continue to kick the ball? But at whom?
That's a serious question. That's